Hi. For today I thought it was going to be pretty much time to talk a little bit about my journey in the world of literature. So, most kids are forced to read in primary school around the ages of 5 and 7 or something. Those might not actually want or be ready to learn at that point. Some have already learned to read before, and some are only ready to learn to read later on. And well, I'm in the former group. I taught myself to read when I was between 3 and 4 years old. And this is actually a bit of an interesting story that I might not have actually condensed in a video before. So apparently the story went as follows. So the condensed form that I've always heard was like, people noted that there were a lot of manuals in our house for electric and electronic devices, and I started reading those as soon as I came across them, and that led to my interest in reading, and I continued to read and read and read. Almost nobody could ever take back the manual that I was reading for whatever reason. And so all of a sudden, when I was about 3 to 4 years old, I have almost completely, fully taught myself the skill of reading. Nobody ever really was involved in it, other than maybe by reading to me. Yes, reading stories to a kid is a great way to inspire them to learn to read when they're ready to do so. And I was at that age of 3 or 4 years old. A bit of a sub-story about that was that this was the time when I was getting my own private room. It was still connected to my mom's place, but it was going to be set up specifically for me to have a big bed. Yeah, something switched inside of me that said, oh, I'm going to be more grown up. And, you know, that happened. I almost taught myself to walk up and down the stairs as well, and even defeated securities that would have easily thwarted many a kid against opening a gate at the top or a drawer or something. It's like such a weird story to tell. You know, so me having taught myself to read fits pretty much perfectly in that bigger picture. So when I was a primary school kid, and when I was homeschooled for the first 5 years of primary school, that's between age 4 and age 9 if I'm correct, I read a lot of books. Most notably, I read informational books. You know, things about things like the human body, robots, computers. But I also read a lot of stories. For instance, Dolfje Weerwolfje, the Treehouse series, in Dutch called De Waanzinnige Boomhut. And later on, I started reading Harry Potter as well. And I actually enjoyed those stories. But then came along secondary school. What a disappointment. I've made an entire series of videos against coercive education in that time. Partly because I had to read a lot of books for assignments for every single language course. And I didn't like that. I just genuinely did not enjoy reading those books. In fact, it actually took the fun out of reading for me in general. I mean, I actually genuinely started to dislike books and reading because I associated them with assignments that I didn't really want to do, and an environment I didn't really feel home in. So, whenever I had to read a book, I tended to either read the summary, or like just a summary, or read the summary along with little parts from the book itself to get specific chapter related information and reinterpret that information. instead of actually, reading the whole book beginning to end, because that just felt way too stressful. In fact, in order to alleviate that problem, my mom and I would sometimes read the book together. My mom would look through a copy, and then I would have a copy as well. No dice, that didn't work, unfortunately. No. It was only recently that I was kind of trying to get the fun back into reading. Well, by just trying to read a book from time to time and finishing it. That's the only real method that helps to keep reading fun. Actually reading the books that you like and enjoy. And did that work? Well, kinda yes. I've actually finished quite a lot of books, more than I ever did in secondary school. But it is still quite the process to go through. Yeah? But for me, at the moment, in fact, I think it's practically just time to go and grab the book that I'm currently reading and have a little read through that. Now, I also used to read quite quickly, but I'm trying to take a bit more time for my book, so see you another time. Bye bye. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you do, please give a thumbs up and share this video with all your friends, and perhaps consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.